feel like I'm here to get better if something's wrong with me, but nothing's wrong with me. Is it usually this cold in the when you do this with people? Is that like a thing?
A little bit.
Okay,
Just helps with releasing emotion.
got you. I didn't know. So I was supposed to bring a jacket. I wasn't sure what to like.
Let's focus on the conversation.
My bit.
What's the first emotion or feeling that you have in your head right now?
I don't want to use the word impatient. I want to say urgency. However, it was really a lot of urgency.
And in terms of what?
Getting to my destination, running my race.
Where do you see that race ending?
I learned the race is the destination. The journey is the destination. At times when you feel like you're not on the track running, I think that's when you get a little concerned. I would like to spend as much time as I can in my existence running and being on that track.
You have a similar way of thinking to like military kids, them being moved around so much in different places to where.
That's really interesting. It's incredible that you said that. That's
Why is that?
because I went to the military school
You did.
in Nigeria. Yeah, I grew up.
So let's go back to your childhood. Yeah. You're born in Chicago, the States.
Mm-hmm.
And then you moved to Nigeria right out of there. Who did you live with? Your relatives, aunts, uncles, your cousins? How long were you there for?
So I was there from 5 to 12. I grew up in Lagos. That's the state. But I lived with like my aunties, uncles, grandparents when they were alive. I think I grew up in a world where like I disassociated from the idea of mom and dad super young.
Yeah.
So I went around calling a bunch of different other relatives, mom and dad. That alludes to like what you were saying about kind of moving around so much and having reality just be constantly changing. I think that was like a huge part of like how my life started. Yeah, for sure.
When did you go to military school?
The entire time I was in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Command Children's School, Yaba. So it's probably a lot different now. But yeah, when we were there, it was real for sure. We fetched water from 4:30 in the morning till it was time to go to school. So it was me and my little brother, Jew. It was just two of us, the only people fetching water. So we'd fetch water with a lantern at night, walk into the well, like in the middle of the morning, walk to the well, get the water. And then by the time we were like done fetching water, the sun had started coming out. We'd already be really late for school. So my auntie would give us this hot ass cup. It was like this big of like lemongrass tea, and she would like fill it with garlic, bro. So fucking hot.
At the breath,
bro.
ranky in the morning.
I know, like when I tell you the littlest amount of honey, like honey was such a luxury. So like on a good day, it's 2 slices of bread. On a good day, my little brother can't finish a slice of bread, and I can get an extra, a little piece. But then we have to go to school, so we're like pouring this hot ass tea on our shirt and our school uniforms, and then like walking to school and like we're already late, and by the time we get to school we're being punished because we're late. Like, you feel me? It's just a cycle of like, yeah, that's how it was.
Outside of the military, what were some other like activities you partaked in?
I was into soccer, football. I always thought I was gonna like be professionally involved. I didn't understand what it took at that time, like what actually the steps needed to like succeed at that. But yeah, I was like obsessed with football. And then obviously I sang in the choir too, but that wasn't like voluntarily at church. That was kind of by force. Yeah, they threw us in that. But I mean, shit, I'm better because of it.
Do you feel like you have an upper hand when it comes to the creation process and music because of the choir background?
Not in this music climate. I feel like in like a former music climate, I think, yeah, for sure there's argument, right? But I don't think we're in a climate where like necessarily your skill set necessarily puts you against, and it's not even like a musically like inclined like culture that we live in. I think it just gave me a understanding of where I land more so than like an upper hand in terms of like a skill set.
Can you still say read?
I can't. No more. So I'm the kind of person, you know what I'm saying? I used to be a bartender too. Like the minute I like remove myself from places that either were like forced on me or like things that I hated doing, like I lose. Like my mind just switches off, and like I don't retain any of that information anymore. I'm like done with it. I've like cleansed myself of like those things that like I didn't enjoy.
Was the choir your first like exposure to music?
I'm gonna say so. So we lived in a really like musical household. My older cousin, who was my uncle and auntie's daughter, was like incredible. Had like this golden voice, and then like we were the youngest people to ever join the choir. So like in Nigeria, it's very like great to be involved in that kind of stuff, especially in church. And like our church was like really, you know, renowned for that stuff. We woke up every morning and we like sang hymns and like there was like from Whitney Houston to like Rod Stewart, and all the weekends, everyone's playing all that kind of music, Boys to Men, like all the like classic, and then going to choir practice 3 times a week. Like, yeah, I was constantly around music. What made me have a disdain towards music at an early age was because they don't have electricity 24/7 in Nigeria. So when we had electricity, I would want to watch cartoons, and my cousin would be watching music videos.
Yeah.
And I'd hate it. Like, I'd be mad because I'm trying to watch, you know.
Yeah.
And so I used to be like, man, fuck music. Like ever since then, fuck the choir, fuck Wicca. It's just a lot. Yeah, like my cousin, you feel me? She watching, and that's when like Lil Bow Wow and like Sierra and all of them was like on TV. So that's how I also know about the, you know, American music being in Nigeria.
From Nigeria.
Yeah.
You went to Chicago?
Yeah, I did.
How long did you stay in Chicago before you?
I was in Chicago till I graduated high school.
And then where'd you go after that?
I went to LA right after high school. It was like too fast for me at the time. I was super young. I graduated high school when I was 16. I didn't understand the world fully, like entirely. I wasn't really like super exposed to the world in the way that like a lot of my peers were. So like when I ran into the LA, like just culture, I was just like kind of overwhelmed. Went back to the rack, and then I left the rack when I was like 22, I want to say.
What was the reason for you moving back?
I came back to the States because I spent the entire time I was in Nigeria without my parents. The story is my mom missed us so much that she was like, you guys have to come back. We weren't supposed to come back till it was time to go to college. That was like the original plan. And then the reason for me moving around, I've always been moving around. It's just crazy stories and involved in different families and different people. But by the time I started moving like state to state, that was mainly because of music. When I was in college, actually, I was really good at football, and I went to go play football first semester in college. I'm like peeping like, oh, wow, I want to make music, and music is going to be what's going to get me out of here. And once I like kind of made that decision, I started looking at all the like real avenues to really make that happen. And so obviously moving around from city to city, hub to hub was like a huge part of that.
I've been in Chicago one time.
How do you like it?
It's a little cold out there.
Yeah. So wait, what time of the year did you go?
I went in October, I want to say.
Okay, it's colder on that time. You should go like a little earlier. It's nice there.
Yeah. Do you feel like Chicago gave you that permission to be yourself?
100%. You have to be so raw in Chicago. Like everybody raw as hell. You meet somebody and you're introduced to a completely different world every single time. And I feel like Chicago is like the breeding ground to me, like of like just genius. And so if you can be like raw there in Chicago, like I feel like you have you can take that and go anywhere. I went to an open mic at the YCA, which is like where people like Chance, Vic, Mick Jenkins, they all like got their early starts, you know, doing like poetry and like, you know, spoken word and stuff like that. And I went, and I remember the time I did get on stage, I like said this, what I thought was my craziest, like, I'm like, man, I'm giving my heart, like I was tweaking. I thought I was spazzing. You feel me? And I look up, and everyone was just looking at me, like, and not that it wasn't raw and like motherfuckers wasn't feeling it. It's just like everybody's that raw. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like cool, like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like I was like, oh, I really gotta I got a shot, Nick. Like I just can't be out here just like, you know what I'm saying, flexing my muscles. So it's like that's what I think Chicago does that nowhere else in the world that I've seen so far like can do.
You coming back from Nigeria and going straight to Chicago, it's like one of those places to where like if you can survive there, you can survive anywhere. Like it's such a hard place to get adjusted to. When you moved over to where you're at now, New York, what was the reasoning for you picking this place as like the location for whatever stage you're in right now?
So my older cousin has stayed out here. My older brother stayed out here for as long as I can remember, and they were always telling me, well, they didn't tell me, but I wish they had persuaded me to come out here sooner. But they were just telling me like, oh, why don't you come to New York? They'll just like throw it up in the air, and nobody like ever gave me a real reason as to why I should come. I was in London from January to like May of last year. My manager stays out in New York, and I came back with him, and I knew I didn't want to go back to LA. So he's like, let's give New York a try. You feel me? And so I came back and I fell in love instantly. I was like, this is where I should have been this whole time.
Yeah.
And so I've been here since then. I went to London briefly in between that and now, and came back and I was just like, yeah, every time I come back, I'm like, okay, cool. This is where I should have been.
Do you find there to be similarities between all three? London, Chicago, New York?
More New York than Chicago.
Okay.
I think London's its own experience. I think London presents a certain way online and on TV and media to us, and then going there, I was like, whoa, it's like a lot different, and so I think it has its own, and I think that's an experience that everybody should, have, and the experience coming from America, because I definitely thought it was like a certain way, but I think Chicago and New York are have their similarities for sure.
What is your most like appealing aspect of New York that makes you be like, oh, I love it here?
Just the energy. The minute you touch down here, I just feel like I'm such an energy person. Like I love me feeling things is how I navigate the world. So it's like, and I feel here. Like I feel constant. I just feel it. I don't know if you know what it is. It's alive. It's vibrant. I just feel it. And there's always something to fall into. You talk to some people and they might say different, but to me, Chicago is like, if you know, you know. It's kind of like if you can catch the wavelength, you'll understand it. If you don't catch the wavelength, you could just like float around, and just kind of, but New York's not like that. I feel like there is a wavelength, and then you can also create your own wavelength, and then you can also like follow somebody else's wavelength, like, so I think, yeah, in that way, it's just a little bit more. It's a little less subtle than Chicago is.
I feel like this is like a great spot to experiment with any and
yeah, exactly.
And I know you, especially, like super into fashion.
I've been to Paris during Fashion Week too as well with Balenciaga. So honestly, I've seen fashion at its heights, obviously, but I get behind things that like feel natural to me.
Yeah.
I understand elevation and like I understand like intent and like, showmanship. I understand that. But when you can naturally breathe or exude energies or, execution, I think that's the foundation for breakthrough, genius.
Yeah.
Like, and I move that way too. So it's like for me, I naturally just gravitate towards things that feel natural, and then I kind of, then we can start to add the extra stuff to there.
What's a brand or designer that you're on right now that seems natural to you, that does it effortlessly?
Anna Selivanova, Russian designer. She's crazy. And and I discovered her like a few years ago, so I think maybe that's why. But yeah, I like her work a lot.
Yeah, I've ever tried to experiment between like the fashion and music world.
I think everyone's kind of like in their own way gotten a grip on the fashion world and like involved themselves in whatever way that they can through proximity, whatever. And I'm more interested in doing something or like being involved in an evolutionary like version of that versus like insert me in the fashion world.
Everything for you is like it has to be intentional for him to be some level of intent.
No, I just think right where I'm at now in my career and in life, and as the years go by, you realize that like I have to put points up on the board, and I'm being judged by how many points I'm putting up on the board. So like, let's put some points up. I can't just say I'm in the game and I wore a jersey and I play with LeBron. It's like, it's not enough for me.
Yeah.
So
do you feel like external pressures or just like people's expectations of you have more of an effect on you, or are these like standards that you set for yourself that you have to hit?
I think it's a mixture of both, right? I remember 2015, I think it was 2016, DJ Boot tweeted, and I used to go by a different name, but they tweeted that I was the next big artist out of Chicago, and like they stamped me, right? You look at kind of how people that reach out to me experience Uche, right? They're like, oh, holy shit, why aren't you like the biggest artist in the world yet, right? And so the minute I show up and I underperform, or I don't deliver, oh, that's why he's not the biggest artist in the world. When I met my manager now, J Kush, he's had some conversations, with the potential partners, and their conversation has been, why hasn't it worked? Why isn't it working? And he has to be like, no, like, he's thorough, like he's valid. And so created from that place and understanding my place in people's ecosystem, in the ecosystem of a culture and where I want to land, right? I've had to subtract so many things in my process to be able to deliver something that, we all collectively can appreciate, but also I can translate, through. And I think that's a purification process that has happened for so many artists, right? Because for a lot of times it might feel like as artists we're banging our heads against the wall. 90% of the time it's just a purification process, right? It's just taking, the strongest component of what you bring, and giving that in a singular form. So I think that's what you're kind of witnessing, right? Is that also understanding that like I'm in a place where if I want to go from A to B, if I want to go from B to C, I have to create the ground that you're going to stand on, or I have to create the air that's going to get under your wings that, pushes you to that place. And then I also have to make sure you land safely, and that you have a good time while you're there.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just that attention to those details. And then there's also there's things I want to see out of myself. The quicker my experience infiltrates the world, I think the easier it'll be for me to really give the music that I think my fans would appreciate, right? Or the parts of me that I just think are so super interesting. But I know that like to a stranger, they might not be as hooky, as catchy as something else, And I think that's kind of why you also probably seen a filtered version of Uche, right? Maybe potentially. I don't think it's extremely filtered, but I understand your question.
You not feel like the world isn't really ready for.
No, I just don't think we've created the ecosystem around that experience, right? If you hear 10 songs on the radio and one of them is Drake, like that's normal. You know what I'm trying to say? You're like, oh, your ears perk up because you're so used to hearing Drake. I need people to get used to me and my experience, right? In a way that doesn't feel like, oh, he's a new artist, listen to him.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you're like, oh, why am I listening to him if I'm doing a song where I'm singing monotone, like the entire song, but that's like me stripping away everything I've done before in the past.
Yeah.
Right? A new listener is not going to appreciate it as much as, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that like I have to be global before I can start, playing or showing my hand that's a little bit more artistic. But I do understand that a lot of that does come with appreciation on a deeper level when it comes to, the general public.
I want to talk about that intentionality that you were just mentioning within music. Just curious, as somebody is like super nerdy and like wanting to know your creative process, did you know that Blood for Blood was going to be a series?
Blood for Blood happened on accident. So we went out to London at the top of the year with like 2 projects. I had a lot of songs where we wanted to like make 2 projects out of them, and we were taking meetings with everybody, and when I say everybody, labels and stuff like that, and distro companies. And so when we came back, we had only released 1 project, and we were kind of in the process of releasing the other project. But
what project was that?
So I dropped How to Die.
Okay.
And I was going to drop the project How to Live.
Yeah.
So much so that like if you read some of my articles with like Notion and like some of these other magazines, we hint at how to live. But like I said, our conversations with our potential partners just weren't in the best place as I would like them to be. Blood for Blood was like my, like, fuck you niggas. But also, how niggas be like, oh, I'm gonna drop a mixtape and then like see where we are after the mixtape with the, it was kind of like that. So the weekend was supposed to be on this Fire in the Lake. There's a lot of songs in my Ableton that I start and I just don't finish, or I just forget, or So that was one of those songs. And so I was like, damn, if that's Fire in the Lake, we're going to sound like something, I want it to sound like this song.
Yeah.
But I just had 14 other songs. So I was like, you know what, just put out the project. So I did. So I had the weekend before I went out to London, came back, and the weekend was already done by then. And I was like, cool, at least I know I want to drop this into the world. So I did. And when I dropped the weekend, I kind of understood where things were landing a little bit more. But really, I was pissed. So I had recorded 15, playing with keys, Comprehend. I had a bunch of songs. I did like 8 trap songs in like a week. I was just tweaking. I was just literally like, man, fuck niggas, like kind of situation. So I'd already been thinking about Buff for a little bit, but something else happened in my life, in my personal life, and I really was like, it just kind of snapped me back into like revenge, like like a motherfucker. And like I did Blood for Blood. The second time around, I was like, it'd be really crazy if it's really good music. And like I'm taking all the trap elements out of it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to feel like it's any like no street shit involved. And that's kind of like where that started, and that kind of how that kind of fell together. But it also came from a place of necessity, because I kept finding myself in these conversations with people that were supposed to be a part of the journey, in a helpful way, and they would just kind of stall, or like, so I was just like, bro, like it was kind of like my fuck you, like really.
Yeah.
And I kind of like dropped it out of necessity, because I would have kind of been a little bit in no man's land if I hadn't made decisions to release this music. So I think I put a tweet out or like a story up one time, and I was like, man, I'm just going to empty the vault. Fuck it, see what happens.
Yeah.
Like I just said that.
We like that tweet.
Yeah.
You know? Empty it again.
Yeah, empty it again. So I just did that. That was kind of what you saw from like July, whenever I dropped Blood for Blood Part 1 to like September or whatever, October. I think I dropped Blood for Blood Part 2 in September. And now we're going to, create the third installment of that.
Is the third installment leading more to the brutalist R&B, or is it going back to trap?
So what's crazy? It's really interesting to hear you speak about my music, because when I hear my music now, I hear it as so foundational. Like I'm like, okay, cool. Like I laid a lot of foundations. Now it's like I'm gonna show the world who Uche is.
Yeah.
But like I'm gonna embody that through energy, through storytelling, like you said. And so it's gonna be a mix. It's gonna be Uche. Whoever Uche is and whoever he needs to be is who he'll show up as.
Okay, so explain that because a lot of people don't know why you refer to yourself in
Because I'm
third person.
schizophrenic. No, I'm
Yeah.
just like, I fucking see people when I go
What
to
is
sleep. No,
what
I'm
is the
joking.
reasoning behind you mentioning yourself in that way?
My name is Uche. My name is Uchenna. Before I ever made the switch, I had a few conversations with people way before this, and I was like, man, I should make a name change to Uche. And like, I was like blowing up as my other name, so I was like, there's no reason to make a switch. But like, I was like, damn, if I did, like, that sounds like the name of a star. Like he's turned, like, you know me kind of situation. It's 4 letters or whatever. Long story short, when I made the switch, we were looking for a bunch of, like, we were looking for IG handles. Like, you feel me? And every Uche, whatever, was taking everything that we were trying. And so I always had this mantra, like, that live a mystery, die an idea. I have a tattoo, I have a barcode on the back of my neck, and it's like, it's tatted under that. And long story short, my ex, she was sitting on there with me, and she was like, what if you just did like Uche idea?
Yeah.
And like, I was like, oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Like, and I did. I really understood at that moment, like, oh, Uche is just that, an idea. Like, I should never be a complete realization for anybody. It should just be this. And that's all the greatest, I think. All the greatest people, greatest things that we enjoy in our lives are ideas, which we get fragments of, post, before they get here and after they leave, and I think that's a huge part of like me vocalizing that, right? Is understanding, once again, like I said, my place in things and how I want to exist. And so I think that allows me and forces me to exist as such. I mean, that's how I exist anyways, but yes. And so that's why I speak about Uche, right? I speak about Uche as, obviously Uche is myself, but also who the world perceives, who the world is receiving, what they're going to say. And so I have to, in the same way I do that with music, I have to kind of acknowledge the world's experience as well too, and that's what I'm vocalizing when I
Yeah.
say it like that.
When you think about like future sounds that you want to experiment, what do you see Uche down the line going into?
Now, it's interesting, when I got done with Blood for Blood Part 2, I was like, oh, I got my lane. Like, I understand my lane now, because everyone was so okay with like digesting me in that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got my lane. And then the minute I went to go record, like something else came out, like, so I was just like, whatever sounds are needed to tell Uche's story will always be the sounds that are utilized.
Yeah.
At the same time too, I'm always pushing myself. I said this in a caption on my Instagram. There's a video of me like at a photo shoot when I did the live renditions of the Blood for Blood Part 2. I put this on the caption of that video. I said that I'm not interested in like running a race with other people. Like, I want to run my own race, like one that like puts me against the best and the worst parts of myself and like forces me to be better.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what like I think I will constantly be in pursuit of.
You come across as like this real human being that has for sure real feelings and real emotions, and a lot of times we get to hear that through your music, and you kind of like chase chaos a little bit within your sound. Like,
I do.
Everything is super extreme and you feel intensely. How did you get so comfortable with like revealing that side of you in your songs?
I don't even think I realized I do it, or that I've gotten comfortable. You've spoken to this too as well. Like when people meet me, like, I'm a nice guy, and like I am like 100% like a human. Like, I'm a lovable human. There's another side of me that like is just hell on earth. Like, it can be, for sure. It depends on what side you're on. And once that side, I think a lot of people are surprised when that side is revealed. It's not like this deep, dark, like,
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But I do definitely think there's like just a switch, and like, I'm a very intelligent person. I'm very calculated. So I think a lot of times in my day-to-day life, right, I'm moving with calculation, and like, I'm not in front of my move, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is a world where hell, heaven, and earth are happening all at once.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of see that a little bit more probably, and I think that's what that is. I'm sure there's people that will tell you that I'm chaotic as a person as well too. So but they just haven't. Nah. They don't leave them out of this. Definitely leave them out of this. But I think music is just a place where everything is happening at once. So therefore, like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that heaven and hell on earth, like the duality comes across in like everything that you have.
But that's real though.
Yeah.
So here's this is what I say music is. Right? I say to people, I say this all the time. Right? Imagine you and your significant other when y'all get into an argument.
Yeah.
Right? And like y'all hate each other. When I have like an argument, like a fight, like y'all really like y'all on it. In that moment, right, when y'all like saying I hate you and a fuck you and woo this and the third, like all of those emotions are real. Yeah. Even if it's just for a second. When my first relationship, I remember going to this place where like I've only been in 2 relationships. And so my first relationship, not to say that it meant so much, but like I had a lot of extremes in that. And like I remember like when we would say fuck you to each other, like I still, I'm done with this, like I'm done with this person. Yeah. Like, and like I believed it. And like I'm sure she believed it too, right? For 30 seconds I would go to that place where me and that person weren't together anymore, or where all the things I would do because I'm fucking sick of this person, right? 5 minutes later me and her are cool, or 10 minutes later or 30 minutes later, whatever, we're warming back up to each other. Those 30 seconds existed, right? And like energetic, not in the physical realm, but like in the energy realm, psychologically, I went to that place, so emotionally I went to that place. That's what music is. Yeah. Music is all the realities happening, because that's what life is too, right? Life, I didn't just like say fuck her and then like go to that place and then like did not deal with her no more. I did. I still had to deal with her. I came back. We went back to the living room or whatever was going on. Yeah. And so it's like, that's how I see music. It's like, it's all the things that are happening at once. I just think that we just only taking the physical realm most of the times, right? But it's like, nah, like emotionally you were done. I was done. Like, yeah. And then like it changed, which life changes all the time. And that's what I think that you see and people see. And I think more times than not, people run away from perceiving that. And I think that's what makes us human. Like, that's what makes life real. Yeah. In the jungle, like a fucking, whatever you want to say, a deer, gazelle is chilling, and then the next minute the lion is on his ass. Yeah. And it's a meal, or it makes it another day. It's like, that's life. It's that life, death, hunger, starvation happen in like 5 minutes, two minutes, so it's like that's the world, what I'm trying to say. And I think that's the most accurate depiction of life. It's so nice hearing you talk about music in this way, knowing that you used to hate it when you were younger. Sure. When did that switch happen from hating music to liking it to now it seems like it's a part of your survival? Like, you need it to live. When did that switch happen for you? Not to like get deep or anything, but I had a period in my life where there's a lot going on. When I was a shorty, when I was like a teenager and shit, when I first came to America, like there was a lot going on. Like I got adopted and stuff. Like I got put up for adoption and like a whole bunch of stuff. And like I was really just like having to make decisions for myself super young. Like I saw music as like a bridge from my world to the world that like I wanted to be in. You feel me? And even the world that I existed in. Yeah. And I saw it as like an opportunity to like speak and be heard, and like to like translate. It'll be stuff that'll happen at home, and then I come to school, and I'll link with the guys, and like, how do you explain certain things? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I feel like with music, that was one of those things that the world and everybody around me was always involved in. So I felt like this was my opportunity to kind of like infiltrate that way. I've always been super interested in your creative process. Explain that process to me. Like, how does it start? Where does the idea come from? How do you begin writing? There's like a really key part of it that like, I don't know if I should say, because my manager, he's made a good point to say that like, it's like not necessarily secret sauce, but it's like very specific to like me and like how I work. In most cases, obviously when I'm creating, I record every single day. So I'm just working. I'm anything that catches my ear or moves me, I'm recording over. But when I'm trying to finish a project, when I have a destination potentially in mind, I look for something that moves me in the way that I need to be moved, and moves me, then I listen to what it's saying, what it's leaving room to be said. And then that's what I respond to. And then I think that everything that you see from there is just like autopilot. I just like fill in the blanks. It's like one of those kind of situations. I'm producing 95 to 98% of everything that you're hearing me on. I'm doing all the mixing and mastering. That's why my process requires me to record myself and work at my own pace and, move the beat how I feel it. Because the minute I hear or feel something, I got to do it. And if I don't, then I lose it. Do you feel like that becomes a lot sometimes when you have to do everything yourself, or does it slow the process down? No, it's exactly what I need. You can listen to the music I make and listen to any of those songs somebody else is recording me or somebody else is even producing. No. Completely different. Yeah. Well, I can't. 100%. Oh, no.
Like anything that you put out, regardless of,
I've
sounds
probably
good.
been mostly. So you know what's crazy? I even used to think that I just got like as raw as I am, right? I realized that like I just had more control of my process now. That's the only thing that's changed. When I was recording at studios like everybody else, I was recording headphones. You know, when I was doing stuff that everybody else was doing, I like was it didn't I just don't translate. I went to the studio the other day and I did it the way everybody else did, and I was like, oh, this doesn't feel like it's cool, it's fire, like it's not Uche, like it's not like not lit. You know, it's not to say it's not like I want to knock over your setup. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, we mess up your office and
No,
shit.
you're okay.
So it's that kind of situation. So I think that plays a huge part of it.
But when it comes to collaboration with other artists, you feel completely different.
No, for sure, 100%. But there's also some guys like shout out to like Vestcape. He's been on every project I've done since How to Die. I think I dropped 3 projects like he. I think he's been across all of them. No, actually, since This Far in the Lake. People like him who just like add something to my world that like I don't get out of myself. Or there's this Russian producer, crazy. He's doing a lot of my trap stuff. I'll show you my inbox right now. I get 30 emails a day of people sending beats.
Yeah.
Like with probably 10 beats at least in each email.
Yeah.
And like I specifically want this guy's like trap. I've been like texting him, like he's probably gonna watch this interview, and like I've been texting him and I'm like, gang, like I need more trap. That's the one genre of music that has to catch me off guard. R&B, all the other stuff, you're crafting a sound. There's a destination. You know your strongest points. You're trying to highlight them. But that stuff, you're like a crazy man. How well can you do the wrong shit, in the wrong state of mind? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? How altered can your reality be, and how accurate are you when that's going on? It's like that kind of situation.
Those 30 emails that you have,
Yeah.
I was one of those emails.
Oh, yeah?
A long time ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This is how I found you.
I gotta
No, because back then I was just starting, but
Yo.
I remember finding you on YouTube.
I apologize for not responding.
No, it's okay, because it was ass back then.
Okay.
But I sent you like maybe 2 beats or maybe 1 beat trying to match like a similar sound.
That's crazy.
So then when we ended up following each other on Instagram, I was like, oh, this is kind of fire because this is like a full circle moment,
That's
But
crazy.
Don't go back and look for that. No. I don't even know what my email was back then.
I didn't even know this about you. I'm gonna find this about you right now. I didn't even know that you. This is crazy.
When I first met you in person, I was gonna bring it up, but I was like, nah, let me not embarrass myself.
Back in the day, I was listening to everybody's shit for sure, and like I still do. Like if there's an email I don't know, or like I see my email, so like I listen. If I have to like send beats out all the time, it's a way different occupation. Yeah. And then you have to make something that's uniform but also different, but it's like not different enough that like it excludes half of the artist. It's like it's really weird. So it's like I understand maybe that's why niggas suck, or maybe niggas actually do suck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But so I understand the difficulty in that. But yeah, just a lot of stuff I get is just it's so like atypical. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? And so like it's just so atypical. It's just atypical. The sounds are just atypical. It's like the guy that makes my trap stuff, he's making trap music, but he's just using the craziest, like different sounds. It's different. He hears the 808s different. I can tell his head is in a different place. And it's like, that's good. Yeah. There's no angle to what anybody's doing. Everything is just straight down the middle. And it's like, I don't know. That's what used to make movies interesting, right? There's like, there's an angle. Tarantino shot it from this demented, weird, whatever. It's like, there has to be an angle. There's an angle to your character. There has to be an angle to the script, to the narrative. There's no angle to like,
Hey, you trying to say there's no angle to the beat I sent you?
No, I'm finna go listen. There's no angle to that email. I'm joking. I'm finna go peep. I'm finna go find that.
No, I don't even know.
I'm gonna let y'all know how that sounds. I'm gonna go live and we're gonna play the music on live. We're gonna play Tati's beats on live.
I don't even know what email that's under. It's probably not even. Yeah, so
it's a good day to go on a deep dive. Here we go.
Brother. I don't know if you create your cover art, but the black silhouettes on top of the white backdrops.
So shout out to Medhu. He's this Moroccan graphic designer that did How to Die and Blood for Blood. The first one, Blood for Blood Part 2, was kind of internal thing, myself, Jamie. He'll send me a bunch of drafts and then I'll stop him and be like, no, gang, don't go any further than this. Like I'll peel this back, push that forward. I always send him a ref. Like I think with How to Die, when I literally sent him an image, it was a combination of images. I'm sorry. It wasn't an image. And I told him the theory, the idea of like how I wanted to kind of bring it together. And he just, did that. So both of those covers, they had more warmth to them. And I was like, nah, take all of that out. And it's kind of funny that we end up where we are now with Blood for Blood Part 2, right? And where I'm going with this, this next project that's going to be the trilogy, the end of this series. How on the first Blood for Blood cover, like, there's red on there, but it's really just like you're hinting at the red. It's not like it's like black and like a little bit of like a deep red, and then like on the second cover it is red.
It's just super seamless and packaged pretty well. Like, and I think that's where your fans have the issue of like, you should be a lot bigger.
Right. I believe that it's really packaged well too. It's really, because that's how I feel, right? When I deliver it to the world, maybe I don't have enough conversations, but the general conversations I have, people are like nitpicking or paying attention to other things. Who are my cosigns and like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I get it, like I understand it, but like I have way more of those kind of conversations. You know what I'm trying to say? And who's the biggest feature on my last project? Get it, totally understand. But like, I also think that like there's something outstanding happening like outside of those things, and I feel like there's because there is an appreciation for that stuff outside of when you look at any of the other artists that are competitive, you know, in the skates, and I'm like, so like I'm so confused why we're only focusing on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it gives me like heavy like Reddit fan base of like people that deep dive and try to like
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think you have the right like persona for that fan base, and a lot of the times like usually those groups of people or artists like they have a harder time taking off because you're not like conforming to like the mainstream culture of certain stuff. So I think that's pretty interesting.
I think that's where I was trying to transform even from the beginning of Uche, is that I've removed a lot of like and it's cool to be exclusive, it's cool to be niche, but I've removed some of the things that held me to a place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's like now I'm from that place, but I can also levitate or gravitate, you know, in another realm. You know, I think Scooter Braun said this, but he was saying, "Oh, what's the gap right now? If I like when I look at the industry, what's not being filled? What itch isn't being scratched?" That's why I speak about Uche at the third person too, right? Because it's like, oh, I like Uche.
Yeah.
Like I be friends with Uche. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Just off his art. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know him as a person, but like how he moves and how he thinks, and I like it. Like it's cool. He's fire. Like he's not because I'm making it. I have no attachment to my art. I have as much attachment as a mother has to their child, right? In the sense that like it was you and then it became somebody else. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? And it's like I have a love and appreciation for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not like, it's not me. I forgot your original question, but yeah.
Yeah. I think it was something along like you being niche and
oh yeah. I think there's so much like mainstream appeal, and I understand that because I don't want to be like a quiet, like I didn't come into music to be quiet. The people that like impacted my life and the reason I fell in love with music were not quiet.
Yeah.
The first artist I fell in love with, my favorite artist to this day, was Lil Wayne. Like when I came to America, I heard Mrs. Officer and I was like, I want to rap now. Like, you feel me? So it's like that he made smashes, like, you know, and outside of the only artist that I know, you know, impacted as many people as I've ever been around in my entire life was Michael Jackson. And like, you know, that's my favorite artist of all time. But the point being is that like, you know, those people were not quiet. I don't want to be niche. I understand that there's a niche to like some of the things I do, but no, I'm not trying to be niche at all. I want to win. I want to feed my family and families like for generations. I want other people to get rich off of me. Like that's how I don't want to just sit out here and say like, oh, I managed to like build this little part of like my life where I win and like this is how I win. Like no, I want to win in public and private, you know, in people's dreams and your imagination. Like I want to win everywhere. Like, and I think that's not being niche, that's being commercial, that's being, but I just think naturally as a person I have so much more to offer, so it's never going to be niche. As much as an artist I have so much more to offer, it's never going to feel niche. But yeah, I do think there's a part of me that plays into that, you know.
Do you feel like it's harder for you to reach that mainstream level being independent?
I think the tides have changed. I said this the other day, infrastructure has less power in this day and age.
Yeah.
I just think that the position that I'm in, the position that I put myself into, and the people around me have put themselves into is like, yeah, this is our challenge. This is our, not even our challenge, this is our, like, this is where we exude ourselves. Obviously, back in the day, there was a lot more easier because of the way media and like just everything, consumerism existed, right? There were all these main platforms. There was 10 maybe, not saying that's just as an example, where if you inserted people, the video was here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Your song was here. You did a feature here. This, like, you got that kind of exposure.
Yeah.
But if it's changed for me, it's changed for everybody.
Do you feel like if you were to like approach music in a way that wasn't so on it every day, that you'd be at the level that you're at now?
No, I would lose my mind. A lot of people would say like, oh, I need a vacation, I need a break. Like I don't need a break.
Yeah.
I need like to be able to do what's next. I feel like I'm using 8% of myself every single day.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be fun to use 20. It'd be fun to do BVL 100%.
What does 100% look like?
Oh, you were like, you know, now that I know you, like I could, you're really fun and like you're like purposeful and like, you know, but your music, you wouldn't know that. Like, it's like, that's what that would look like. Is it more complete? It's like all the, like, I'm in such a focused survival mode, almost like vibe, right? And when we start climbing certain rungs, my entire mood changes. My week is like, and not because like, oh, we have a breakthrough. Like, it's not that. It's like, I'm here to move, move forward, like change things, like impact things, be prolific. When the heart does the heart's job, it pumps blood. If you're using your heart as a foot because you don't got nothing else to step on, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know what my heart tissue is made out of, but maybe it's tough as hell and it could do that. But when it pumps blood, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers live today 100. Like, you know what I'm saying? And be out here really doing something, like, you know, and I think that's another reason why too, like, that I think I'm so gung-ho about what I'm gung-ho about is because I need to play my part in the ecosystem. You know what I'm trying to say?
Because of that, do you feel like you're not progressing as fast as you would like to?
I don't like to think like that.
Yeah.
A lot of my peers have had their breakthrough. You know what I'm trying to say? And I see what that looks like. So I know that, like, and it wasn't like the most perfect setup. It wasn't like everything aligned. You know, it happens and you can force, it's not even forcing, you know what I'm saying? But you can get to that place. It's like going to Target, you know, you get up and go. You know, and sometimes you might have $100 to spend, sometimes you might have $1,000, whatever, you know, but you can still be in that situation. Point being is, with this industry, from my specific journey, I've learned that, like, you might think that it's supposed to happen, and one thing keeping you back from that might be saving you from something as well, too. So I like to look at it that way.
Yeah, that's a good mentality to have. Yeah, so. Also, like, a lot of times you see your peers go through a breakthrough, and then it's almost like, okay, but what's next? And they have nothing, you know, set up, versus like, you haven't experienced your breakthrough yet, but I'm pretty much sure you're outworking a lot of people that have experienced.
No, for sure.
So I think that's just like a level of discipline and dedication that, you know, only you have.
No, for sure.
Versus like other people.
$1 is so valuable to me. Versus in a place I would spend it and like see what it yields instead of like understanding its value before I even spend it. And so I know how to extract value from situations that might not even benefit me, you know? And
as far as music, we're closing out the Blood for Blood series with this next project.
It's called I Left You So You Wouldn't Be Alone.
Yeah.
Literally, it just speaks to everything that I've been trying to accomplish, and I think it's just giving context to the world that I've created.
Yeah.
I think I said this in a clip that's on my Instagram, it's on my TikTok too, I think, where I was saying, like, you know, first you give people something to give a fuck about, and then you tell them how to give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's kind of that type of situation. And I feel like a lot of times, right, with consumerism and just artists, right, you're being told, give a fuck, 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 give a fuck. And there's very little reason as to why. I'm not saying that with the greater artists and people that have broken through, they haven't given those reasons why, but I feel like a lot of times people are just telling you to give a fuck. With this project and what I'm doing next, the first single, you know, that we just dropped is kind of tying all of this back in. It's like a Dave Chappelle joke.
Yeah.
Like you just say this at the beginning, sprinkling all this gaff and everything. That's like that's how my favorite movies are like that. And it's like, that's kind of what I'm doing. It's like, it's going to make sense. And like, now I'm going to make it make sense. Yeah. Like, you feel me? So I'm slowly walking you down.
You're not the first artist that mentioned the Dave Chappelle reference either. Yeah. There's another artist, he mentioned the same like lineup. And he's also somebody that's like super dope with the pen. I'm
never mentioning it again. Fuck this.
No. But I just see the similarities between like very dope writers. Like, you know.
Fire. No, appreciate that.
Looks like that's the end of our session. Do you feel like you've gotten everything off your chest?
Hell no.